Hey, old man, this floor is for confidential stuff, no outsiders. Isn't your cleaning company's office downstairs? Go on, get.
These young employees are so bold now. I just thought to myself, even if a nearly 60-year-old man on the verge of retirement suddenly shows up at the headquarters, it's no surprise the young staff don't recognize who I am. My original appearance doesn't matter. I'm just here to do my job. I'm John Smith, in my late 50s. For an average salaryman, approaching 60 years old typically means nearing retirement. The company I admire develops online games. It started as a tiny room with just 2 computers and 2 people. That small company has now grown into a towering skyscraper as its headquarters, with the top floor shining so bright it's almost blinding. Called back for work, I was concerned if I could fit in among the many young employees who joined in my absence. I'm sorry. I wasn't blocking the entrance. I was just standing off to the side, out of the way. The path was wide enough for people to pass by. Although my pleasant morning was somewhat disturbed, I politely nodded to the man and stepped aside.
Country hick. Don't just stand there like an idiot.
He spat out as he passed by, clicking his tongue loud enough for me to hear. I then entered the company building using the employee badge I had prepared in advance. I think the development department is this way. Not usually visiting the headquarters, I found myself lost in a building filled with similar-looking rooms. Then, I saw the man who had insulted me at the entrance. Noticing my gaze, he quickly recognized me and said,
Hey, you. This floor is for confidential work, no outsiders allowed. The janitorial office is in the basement. Go there, now.
The man probably thought I was a janitor by looking at my clothes. He made a dismissive gesture with his hand. Oh, no, you've got it wrong. I'm not a.
I'm busy here. Just go do your cleaning job.
He interrupted, not bothering to listen. He glared at me, making sure I left the floor. My apologies. My outfit today was a casual jacket and a plaid shirt. No tie, which probably made him think I wasn't an employee of this company. Resigned, I decided to move as he instructed. When I tried to use the elevator, he quickly grabbed my hand off the floor button.
Hey, you. This isn't your personal elevator. Use the stairs,
He said with a smirk. I felt irritated at his relentless mockery, but showing anger would just play into his hands. I forced a smile and replied, You're right, my mistake. I said that, and then I checked the man's employee badge. It had Mark Brown written on it. Mark, huh, I'll remember that. I thought I'm jerk, but I gonna keep remember his name and face, and committed to taking the stairs. I realized that with my age, descending so many floors was quite a task. The first few steps felt like good exercise, but I quickly started panting. I stealthily stepped out into the hallway, finding myself in the cafeteria. This is a relief. I'll take a break and then make a call. I ordered an iced coffee and drank half of it in one go, just as my phone rang. Hello, this is John.
Hey, where are you? I've been waiting for your call. When you get to the station, let me know. I'll send the car to pick you up.
Oh, right now I'm.
Where are you now?
I started to respond but stopped myself. Since it was a rare visit to the headquarters, I thought it'd be good to see what the place was like now and who was working there. I pretended I hadn't arrived yet. Oh, sorry, I haven't reached the station yet. I'll be there soon and we'll call you back. Luckily, it had been 20 years since I last visited the headquarters. With many young employees like Mark, there weren't many who knew me. I felt like a child playing hide and seek in the large building. If I wandered around too conspicuously, I might get treated like a suspicious person by someone like Mark. I decided to keep a low profile. Then, a woman arrived. She seemed to have some business with the chef in the cafeteria. From her attire and demeanor, she appeared to be a woman in her late 30s. Wearing a suit perfectly, she looked like a CEO's secretary, perhaps. Carrying a planner and a tablet, she had the air of a competent professional. She walked towards the chef, her heels clicking, and said,
"Good morning. We have an important guest for the CEO today, so please prepare 2 portions of the usual lunch."
To me, usually in the countryside, she seemed like someone out of a TV drama. I thought to myself, the CEO sure knows how to pick people as I watched her. She noticed my gaze and looked back. After a moment of puzzlement, she nodded politely and greeted me.
"Good morning, sir. May I help you with anything?"
She asked me that, probably because I looked uneasy. "Good morning. No, I'm just taking a break before work. Please, don't mind me." Even if told not to worry, seeing an unfamiliar face in the office would naturally raise concern. Although the cafeteria is open to everyone, she was looking at me as if I were a suspicious person. After getting off the elevator, Sharon explained the development department is at the end of this floor, and then he returned to his own workplace. I couldn't just boldly enter a room as a stranger, so I looked around cautiously. Then, I heard a loud voice from a meeting room.
"Mark, again. Please, enough of this. You'll get caught someday."
I quietly moved closer to eavesdrop. I decided to move quietly so as not to get caught and listen in on the conversation.
Do you even know who you're talking to? I could have you thrown out of the development department in no time.
Peeking into the room, I saw Mark, the same man who had complained to me earlier. Was he a higher-up capable of firing people? I wondered about the HR people who hired someone like him. Maybe he had some executive connections. Suddenly, Mark came to where I was hiding, and our eyes met.
Hey, cleaner, you're still here. This area is off limits to outsiders. Are you a newbie? Ha! Then go get me a coffee. Now, hurry up.
Mark, probably embarrassed to be seen in that situation, yelled at me with visible irritation. "I'm sorry for the disturbance. Understood?" I said, bowing repeatedly. Mark seemed somewhat satisfied and quickly left. Then, the man left in the room approached me.
"Are you all right? Really, that guy is rough."
"Thank you. It's my fault for eavesdropping. I hope I'm not being rude, but did he take something important from you?" The man looked troubled, having been witnessed in an unpleasant situation, but after a few seconds, he spoke to me.
"That guy, he's the son or relative of someone important in HR. That's why, despite being incapable in development, he was assigned to this department. He always takes others' ideas and pretends to work."
That's a tough situation. Is it because of his connections in HR?
"Please keep this between us."
He requested, placing his index finger to his lips in a shush gesture. Of course, I won't tell anyone. But doesn't it frustrate you, having your ideas taken? Don't you have a passion for the things you develop? I couldn't help but ask passionately.
"It does upset me. But if I refuse, I might get kicked out of development. I love my job, but there's a limit. That's why I've planted a bug in the current data. I can fix it, but Mark definitely can't. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
He spoke with a hint of annoyance. Won't Mark try to get back at you? I hate to believe that such childish adults exist.
Well, when that time comes, it comes. Working in a place where you can't do your job properly won't produce anything good. I've spoken too much to a stranger. Sorry, I need to get back to work.
Can I get your name before you go?
It's Thomas. And don't worry about the coffee. I'll buy it for him.
No, it's my responsibility. You go back to your work.
All right, thanks.
Thomas smiled brightly, waved at me, and returned to his work. After watching him go, I took out the notepad I had received from Sharon. Sharon, it's John.
Yes, how can I assist you?
Sharon responded immediately after the phone rang. I'm really sorry to bother you, but could you bring a coffee to the development room?
Certainly. How many cups?
Just one, please. After hanging up, I pondered the reason I was called to the headquarters after 20 years. Maybe he had some inkling of the current situation. That's why he summoned me to the headquarters now. I encouraged myself to meet his expectations and reached for the doorknob of the development room. As I opened the door and entered, Mark was standing in front, seemingly preparing to present data he must have taken from Thomas earlier. Unaware of my entry, Mark was intensely focused. A man, mistaking me for an outsider, approached and looked surprised to see me.
Joe.
I stopped him from calling my name and focused on Mark's presentation. As Mark was explaining the data, the screen suddenly went black with a loud mechanical noise. A few seconds later, when the screen lit up, photos of Mark slacking off at work started to play. Panicked, Mark didn't know how to stop the data and started sweating profusely. The photos showed various scenes, like Mark napping in a sloppy manner and hurling abuse at Thomas. He tried to hide the projector's display with his body, but the other employees were already snickering.
Hey, Mark. It's your data. Stop it now, his boss commanded.
Mark, looking almost tearful, replied.
Yes, that's strange.
He fumbled with the computer, but unable to stop it, he just hit it roughly.
Hey, Thomas, you made this, right? Stop it now.
In his panic, Mark inadvertently revealed to everyone in the development department that it was Thomas's data.
You're using someone else's data. What kind of person does that, Thomas? Please stop it.
The department had instructed after hearing this. Mark, face red with embarrassment, approached Thomas.
Thomas, this is your doing, isn't it?
Forgetting there were others around, Mark grabbed Thomas' collar and confronted him. Just as he seemed about to swing his right hand, I spoke up. Mark, stop this disgraceful behavior. Let go of Thomas. Everyone in the room turned to me with surprised expressions. Mark, whose name I had called, looked most shocked. Then, redirecting his anger towards me, he yelled,
Hey, old man, don't you dare order me around. You're just a newbie. Where's the coffee?
Before Mark could lash out at me, the development department had intervened.
Do you even know who you're talking to?
Boss, this old guy is new here, right? What is HR thinking, hiring someone like him?
The department head sighed loudly. Ignoring Mark's question, the department head came to me and apologized profusely.
I am terribly sorry for this unsightly scene and rude behavior, Mr. John. Did you perhaps hear about this from the CEO?
Well, I hadn't heard the details, but I had a feeling about what was going on. Just then, Sharon appeared with a single cup of coffee.
Excuse me?
She said, entering the room and handing me the coffee. Chairman, sorry to keep you waiting. Sharon, sorry to ask you to do this. Thank you. I took the coffee from Sharon and handed it to Mark. Here you go, Mark. Mark, now completely deflated, was visibly shaken.
The chairman, you're not a newbie. Oh, thank you for the coffee.
Seeing this, the other employees in the room were also disturbed. Thomas seemed flustered as well. Then the CEO arrived in a hurry. It appeared that Sharon had contacted him after seeing what was happening. Upon entering, he saw me and exclaimed,
John,
"Oh, sorry about this."
Sharon told me, and I was shocked. You're already inside the company, aren't you? So, what exactly happened?
In fact, I am the brother of the company's president, Alan Smith, and nominally the chairman. Understandably, young employees who hadn't seen the chairman, who had been absent from headquarters for 20 years, wouldn't recognize me, leading to this commotion. Alan, I've taken a look around the development department, and there are quite a few issues.
Really? You figured it out already? So, John, I have a favor to ask. Could you come back to the headquarters?
I was baffled by the CEO bowing deeply to me. In the past, as brothers who started the company together, I gradually demanded perfection from the growing number of employees, disrupting the harmony in the company. Unable to handle the stress of failure, I often shouted at the staff and made them work late. I was rumored to be a demon named John behind my back. This led to stressed employees losing their motivation to create good products, and the company atmosphere became tense. Seeing Alan, always caught between me and the company, trying to mediate, I suggested stepping away myself. Afterward, I retreated to the countryside, running a small programming school for kids. Before I knew it, Alan had grown the company we started together substantially on his own. He must have had the knack for management. Standing in front of the company building, I had always thought from the bottom of my heart that my decision to step back then was the right one. Though I was surprised to find myself listed as the chairman. By the way, Mark was saying earlier, "I'll kick you out of the development department if you oppose me." What was that about?
That's...
Mark, who had mistaken me for a cleaner and was now shocked to learn I was the president's brother, was trembling.
That was just a rumor I spread. I thought if people believed I was related to someone important in HR, they'd treat me better.
Well, you're incredible. You have the talent to make people believe lies. It would be great if you could use that talent for something more productive. I never meant to belittle Mark. Honestly, I did think his approach was quite childish. But I was truly impressed by his ability to make people believe in rumors.
Yes, I'm sorry,
said Mark, about to bow deeply in apology, but I stopped him. Don't apologize to me. You should be apologizing to Thomas, don't you think, after all the things you've done? Mark, looking like he was about to cry, turned to Thomas and bowed his head.
Thomas, I'm sorry for everything. I was just envious of your ability to come up with interesting ideas. I'm truly sorry for my actions.
Mark.
Watching this scene, Alan, the CEO, intervened.
So, John, how would you resolve this?
Alan looked at me with a scheming expression. All right, I got it. Mark, from now on, I will personally train you. And if you really feel sorry, start supporting Thomas's work.
Hey, I'm not being fired.
Mark, recalling his previous rude behavior, seemed prepared to be dismissed, but I didn't allow that. I love turning those who can't into those who can more than anything else. You're going to change, Mark. As I said this with a cheerful smile, the development department head, who remembered my past, murmured,
The demon John is still around.
At Demon John,
Mark shrank back like a frightened puppy.
Even demons mellow with age over 20 years.
Said Alan, the CEO, laughing heartily as he left the development department.
Demon John, huh? Lucky you, Mark. Learn thoroughly. I want to learn from you too.
He found Mark's trembling funny but also expressed a desire to learn with him. I'm glad to hear you want to learn from me. Let's start then, Mark.
yes, sir.
Mark looked at me nervously. As a new member of the development team, I focused on training young talents. Mark was slowly transforming into a capable person, and Thomas had grown surprisingly fond of me. The development department now was filled with laughter, a stark contrast to the tense atmosphere 20 years ago. And here I am, enjoying company life after 20 years. Wondering if even demons soften with age. At nearly 60, I'm having the best time of my life,